Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Well, good morning for some of them who are there in the West, my friend from the West. Today, I feel extremely elated, very proud, and it's a privilege and an honor to be in conversation with a person who I regard as my mentor, who I really look up to, I admire, I've idolized, I've learned so much about life from. A very, very popular teacher, academician, a extremely popular principal, I would say, head of school, an extremely popular human being, a wonderful soul, and one of the most beautiful ladies I have ever seen in my life. She happens to be, incidentally, my sister as well. So that's let me feel proud and let me show off a bit. And but here today, she is not. I would not be speaking to as a brother, but as a person who's here to grill her completely. A diehard Fauji by heart, a Fauji's daughter, a Fauji's sister, a Fauji's wife, a very, very dynamic lady, and of course, very interestingly, had the tradition where she was head girl of a school, apart from being the Miss School and then subsequently winning runner up at the May Prince, at the Naval Queen, at the Naval Ball. That's a different thing. But apart from the fact that she was the head girl of a school, her son also was the head boy of my alma mater, Lawrence School, Lovedale. Anyway, we will come to that subsequently, but let me just welcome one of the a person who I truly am in awe of, Mrs. Nazli Shah. Ma'am, good evening and Jai Hind.
Jai Hind Ali, and thank you so much for the fantastic introduction. I don't know whether I'm deserving of all that, but thank you very much. It did make me feel very nice. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Ma'am, thank you very much for sparing time for us. Normally people take the liberty that she's my ma'am, but let me take the liberty of calling her, she's like my sister. But here, you are the sister, but here, I will not take the liberty of calling you. I would rather address you as ma'am over here. First, let's start from the very beginning. I know for a fact that, when you were born, you are the eldest of four siblings. When you were born, your parents had registered you that time for Welham Girls School in Dehradun. And just the way later on I was registered when I was 3 months old for the Doon school. That's a different thing. I flunked in the entrance test, so I couldn't go to Doon. That's a different thing altogether. But anyhow, you now, just before you could pack your bags to go to Wellams, you did not go there. You rather went to APS Dholakwa at that time. And in fact, when we were all very small, I started my schooling from the Indo-Tibet border, from Tanga Valley. And people would ask, where's Tanga Valley? Oh, it's near Tawang. Where's Tawang? It's near Kirmu. Where's Kirmu? So now today everyone knows of Tawang. But let's start from the very beginning about your education, your memories of Tanga Valley, and subsequently about APS and then to St. Mary's and then becoming Miss School and the head girl. Let's start from the very beginning, ma'am.
Well, my story begins, educational story, begins in Calcutta, where I remember going to the Turfu Nursery School along with my parents, very happily so, because I loved being with people. I love making friends. So I was a very happy schoolgoer. I never cried. I did my, I think, nursery, lower KG and upper KG at Calcutta. Then we moved on to Wellington, where I did my class one. Then class second, third, fourth were done in Sophia Girls School, that is in Meerut.
Do you have
And
any memories? Do you have any memories of Wellington as a
well,
as a, as a child?
I do have a lot of memories of playing around and having fun, but beyond that, nothing much. Because I
Okay.
think it really did not make such an impact on me. Shifting, moving, at that time, it did not make such an impact on me. But it started making an impact on me as I grew older. Because even though it made me a confident person, it made me a person who could easily adapt to situations later. But in the beginning, it was not very easy for me. So as I kept changing schools, as I kept moving from place to place, it became progressively more difficult for me to adjust. So you had mentioned Wellams girls school. Yes, I do remember giving the entrance exam, going, but unfortunately for me, I did not clear the entrance test because of
What
my
are you saying? That is
mathematical
now
skills.
out of the bag for the first time in my life. I've got to know all these years. I did not know. I thought, why my you were to go to Welland, I was to go to Doon, and why you didn't go to Welland? It was a mystery to me. My goodness, you unravel it over here online to me, and that's not fair. For so many years, I was living under the illusion that you chose not to go there. Okay, this is interesting. Go on.
So, because of my amazing capability in maths, I was I was not able to enter Willems. It was totally my loss. But I also have to say that it made me want to get over problems. It made me want to strive to seek and to become better in whatever I was doing, despite this failure. So, of course, failures make us the people that we are, and I strongly believe that. So after that, the journey was we were constantly moving, shifting. So we moved to Allahabad, we moved to Delhi, we moved to Firozpur. So many schools, many schools. So I am all the cities that I've visited, all the countries that I've been to. I'm the culmination of all people that I have met.
Wow, that is amazing. So anyway, I'm sorry to have interrupted you. So you were saying you went to Sophia Girls School in Meerut, and after that you came to APS Dholakwa. But
Uh, no, after Sophia Girls School, I went to Tanga Valley.
yes, Tanga Valley. That is interesting. Now, I would like to know about Tanga Valley because that's near the hotspot Tawang, which was in the news lately. People would ask me, Tawang, where's Tawang? And now, after December, after 9 December, everyone in the world knows where Tawang is. So, tell me about your memories of Tawang, man.
Well, we would travel a lot to Tawang because our father was uh, he used to be staying there. The families who were in Tanga, which was I think maybe 2 or 3 hours away from Tawang. I don't remember clearly. So it used to be a very difficult journey. It was a very tough terrain, and I remember visiting our father there very often. So in fact, for many years of my growing up, I remember Papa being an absentee father and our mother handling everything from handling children to sicknesses to school issues, everything. So hats off to her for that. So I have memories of Tanga Valley, beautiful hills, verdant, lovely friends, a great atmosphere, and a lovely place to grow up for a young child.
Lovely, lovely. So, after that, you came to TAPS, Army Public School, and then you went to St. Mary's, Allahabad, right? And so your journey there after that, ma'am. I mean, you were also when you passed out, you were Miss School and you were the head girl of your batch of your school, in fact. And in fact, you had directed a play. You had not direct, you had helped out. You assisted in directing a play in which I had acted. I made my debut on stage with that play, The Recipe of Life. I still remember you teaching me the dialogues. Service before self is the greatest service before God. All men are equal in the eyes of God. Doctors, engineers, teachers, scientists, aren't they the vehicle on which depend the future of the world? I remember this, you preparing us for debates and going up on stage. And today, the same boy who had a speech impediment today has given so many TEDx talks, all courtesy you, all courtesy your mentoring. Even today, when I go on a TV panel or on a TEDx, I give you a call and I ask you, and you still teach me very, very patiently. So, anyhow, so tell me, how was it when you were the head girl of your school?
Okay, so I will start a little before being the head girl. I never excelled in academics per se. So because of that, I was a very mediocre student. Because of that, I would feel a little quite bad when friends or people who were doing well were always picked up by the teachers to participate in debates, in dramatics, and various other things. And it really made me wonder that why was I not chosen for events like this? So I decided that I was going to work on myself. I would read books, I would work on myself, I would learn how to speak, I would do many things to get accepted. So it was quite a struggle. uh, in class ninth, I met a teacher who completely changed the trajectory of my life, I would say. Her name is Mrs. Jacobs, and
Oh, of course.
yes, I remember her very clearly. And one day she noticed that I had written a very good essay. So she called me aside and she said that, Nazli, I think you have a skill. You need to develop it. And I was totally taken unawares, because nobody had ever told me that I had good writing skills, or that I could be a confident person, or I had this innate ability to write. So she said, okay, I want you to write blah blah blah. I want you to write this article for me. Can you do it? I said, yes, ma'am, sure. And I wrote something for her. Then she got it published in the school magazine. Then from there she would make me stand in public. I don't know, for some reason she just took a general liking for me, and she pushed me forward. The day she pushed me forward, the day I started participating in events, the day I started writing poetry, that is the day I changed completely as a person. I started doing well in academics. I you mentioned about being the head girl. So I don't know how it came to be that I became the head girl of my school, because of that, because of the push that she gave me. And that is what my journey has been as a professional too, as a teacher, as an educator, as the headmistress of a school, to push children who are academically in the background, to make them come forward, to make them more confident about themselves, and to generally change their lives if I can. So that is the power she gave me, and that is the power I hope to carry forward.
That's so nice. And that is a regard the way you talk about your teacher, Mrs. Jacob. She taught you English, or which other subject?
English.
English. Perfect. English teachers are normally are always our favorite teachers I've seen. In fact, I
Yes,
still am in touch with my English teacher.
true.
Right. So tell us, you were also the basketball captain of your school, and because of the height that you have, and the tall personality, and you would come and dribble, and people would cheer for you and such things. So how important for you, right now I'm speaking to a head girl, how important for you is extracurricular, because you took part in debates, in declamations, in plays, sports, athletics, and very modest of you to say that you were a mediocre student. Well, the way you used to explain things to me, and this was genuinely, it was news to me when he told me that you did not get through Vellum girls. I to always wonder, why didn't she go to Vellums? Yeah, I mean, she was acha khasa. Everything was all set for her. I mean, this is, and you look, ladies and gentlemen, can it get more exciting than this? Here, the news is broken to me on this live that eons ago, decades ago, and so far I thought I was the only person, the only failure who did not get through Doon school. Anyhow, we have a tradition of boarding schools in our family. Like, our father went to a boarding in Nainital, his brothers went to a boarding in Nainital, the same school. Then we have a section of our cousins who are there, who are from Mayo boys. In fact, why only Mayo boys? Mayo girl is also, Kainat is from Mayo girl. So Mayo girls, we have a cousin from Rishi Valley, from Doon school, and but as they say, majority wins. Most of us, your sister, in fact, my sister as well, Sarah Shah Halim, and I, we went to Lawrence School, Lovedale. That's the tie and the blazer and the shirt I'm wearing, and so did your son, and so did Zafar Shah, so did Mahin Khan, and whole lot of there's a whole chain.
Family.
In fact, Ayan, your son, who passed out as the head boy of the batch of 2017, I remember probably he was what, 4 years, 5 years old when I took him first to Lawrence School Update.
He was 8.
He was 8, all right. And that time he went to the headmaster's house. Colonel Prasad was the headmaster at that time. And he had a Doberman. The Doberman came charging for Ayan, and I picked up Ayan. So Ayan was like very skeptical that I hope you will not put me in the school. But secretly, my mind was working. I had the better of you, I had the influence, and I convinced you all to send him to Lawrence School Lovedale. So tell me, do you ever regret the fact that you sent your son to a boarding, that too, to Lawrence School Lovedale, to my school?
Well, we are very, very grateful for what the school did for our son, because it changed him completely. He is a very confident young man because of what he learned from the school, his fantastic teachers, his fantastic headmistress, rather. She is the one who motivated him, guided him, and of course, we were always there in the background. And it is our son's good luck that he managed to get into the school, and he did well. And we are very, very proud of the school, because not for a day did we regret that we had sent him off to Lawrence School Lovedale, or that he was in a boarding. Of course, as a mother, I did have the empty nest syndrome. I cried a lot. It was not easy for us to give away our only child to in the custody of a boarding school, but we did it, and the results are there to see.
Right. Ayan, ladies and gentlemen, Ayan got a Mahindra scholarship in junior school. He joined in class 7th. Same, so did I join class 7th. And he got a Mahindra scholarship. He
He joined
topped.
in class 8th.
He joined in class 8th, sorry. He joined in class 8th and he got a Mahindra scholarship. And he came and topped his batch the moment he came in class 8th. And he was one of the few students who the HRD minister that time, Smriti Rani, wrote a letter personally by name to Ayan, complimenting and commending him on his performance. Excellent basketballer, tall, 6 feet 4 inches,
Yes, that's
and a hunk of a man. And of course, when I went to Lovedale in the year 2014 to my alma mater to direct the founders play Fiddle on the Roof, Ayan played the lead role in that, not because he was my nephew, but because the lead actor fell sick. Pranav was the lead actor, and then Pranav Ravlani was playing the lead in that as Teve, and then he fell sick. And then the headmistress, very, very nice of her, Ms. Sangeeta Chima, and the deputy headmistress, they auditioned, and Ayan, they found him suitable. And Ayan was the head boy. He led the parade and whatnot. Ayan went on a 100% full scholarship to New York University, Abu Dhabi campus. So tell us a bit about what is this 100% scholarship? What does that mean?
Well, when it came about, the school guided us, Lawrence School Lovedale guided us that why don't you apply, why don't you write your exams, why don't you apply for these universities? So we did, and he got selected in NYU Abu Dhabi. So it meant 100% scholarship meant that all his boarding, lodging, education, as well as tickets to and fro were looked after by the Sheikh, not by the university as such, but by the Sheikh of Abu Dhabi, because he changed the face of Abu Dhabi as an educational hub. He wants more people to know about it. So very few uh, children are selected for this. Every country has a certain quota, and our son was lucky enough to get into one of the quotas, and a 100% scholarship. He traveled the world on his own stream, with the stipend that he would get from the university, and into his entire outlook towards education, everything changed, and so did ours.
In fact, Ayan and Smriti is the current headmaster of Lawrence School Lovedale, Mr. Prabhakaran's daughter. They were classmates there at Lawrence School Lovedale. Sorry, at
NYU Abu
University of
Dhabi.
Abu Dhabi. So when I met Smriti for founders, 5th September 2022, for the founders for our batch's 25th reunion, at that time, I met Smriti, and a lot of people thought that I was Ayan. I took it like a compliment. I was like, wow, if you think I passed out from school, dude, 25 years ago, if you think I still look like Ayan, then it's a big compliment to me. And so did Smriti. And in fact, Smriti and her friends who had come from NYU, Abu Dhabi, the moment they said, they did not know. They genuinely did not know my connection with Ayan at all. They, out of the blue, they asked me, excuse me, are you related to Ayan Ali Shah? I was like, wow. And I sent you that video. I made a video of there that
Right.
they were speaking. So tell us a bit. I think the greatest success for any parent is to see their child outshining and going like really leaps and bounds. And Ayan has done that. He's now got a plum job. He is a tycoon, I would say, in the Gulf, doing really, really well for himself. So how do you feel to have a son like Ayan Ali Shah?
All through it all, I say that just keep your head down, stay humble, and keep doing your work.
Wow, very nice. There is a another comment from again. I because I owe so much to my school, to my alma mater. That's why our Lawrence School Lovedale. So there from another Laurentian, another ex-Laurentian, Sarah Shah Halim. She writes, "Lovely, your sister, my sister, our sister. In fact, hi Sarah, missing you." And so tell us, then you decided to be a teacher, somewhere at some time. Was it always that you had planned as a child that you want to be a teacher? Because I remember once in my childhood. You and Sarah talking, मैं बड़े होके टीचर बनूंगी, मैं डंडे से बच्चों को बहुत मारूंगी. Something we were very small little toddlers at that time, but then maturity came, and then you grew up, and you, in fact, as you mentioned sometime back, that you were a very average child apparently, so you claim. That's why my theory says if you are an average learner, slow learner, you tend to become a good teacher, because then you expect people to take you slow by slowly. If you're a fast learner, then of course you would expect everyone to pick it up. So tell us about your journey into academics, because you were a very, very popular principal when Vishakhapatnam with and you have you have been at the helm of affairs of Navy schools. So tell us a bit about how did you decide to get into education, your stint as a teacher, then B.Ed and M.Ed and such things.
All right. As children, there are people who motivate you very much, and these women, these people can be very, very ordinary people, very
Sorry
ordinary.
to interrupt. Sorry to interrupt. A very, very special comment over here by another Laurentian, incidentally, Ayan Ali Shah. We were just talking about him. Talk about the devil, and the devil arrives. Go on, please, man.
So I would say my maternal grandmother, various aunts who were around in the house, and my paternal grandmother, they would all make comments like, "I wish we had studied. I wish we had enough time. I wish this, that." So that kind of really set me thinking that why do they talk like that? Why couldn't they study? Why couldn't they work? What was the reason behind it? And somehow, as children, I remember getting very motivated by this, that I wanted to study, I wanted to work, and maybe I would find something. Well, I was very confused about what I wanted to do. Quite frankly, I got married early in the just straight after graduation, and I was still floundering around. I did various jobs here and there, and then there was this whole set of friends who kind of guided me, that why don't you uh, take over your studies again. So with a lot of hesitation, because you're managing children, you're managing your house, your husband's transfers, this and that, with a lot of trepidation, I decided to enroll for my master's course in English at Andhra University. I wrote my entrance exam, I got through, and with a lot of difficulty because of other reasons also, I managed to the pass my masters in English. It was fantastic. It was a lovely course. I could attend classes on Saturday, Sunday only because of various reasons. But the way the world opened for me was just fantastic, because we read South American authors, we read various Indian authors, we read American authors, we read British authors. So anyway, I finished my masters in English. Then I thought to myself that it's not enough. What have I done my masters for? Maybe I should go ahead with something more. And I decided to sit for my bachelor's of education exam. Now in those times, when I wrote my bachelor's of education exam, you needed to be currently working, and I did not have a currently working certificate with me. So I decided to work in a private school at Vizag, on a very, very low salary, but the idea was not generating the salary. The idea was to generate experience. So I worked for 2 years. After those 2 years, I could sit for the entrance exam of my bachelor's of education. When I wrote the entrance exam, I cleared it, and I did it through IGNU. Again, a distance education, but regular classes on weekends, regular classes entire day, and during the vacations, entire month. So I picked up a job at the Navy Children's School, a first proper job, and continued with my B.Ed education side by side. It was not easy. I would get up very early in the morning, manage my house, sit and do my homework, give my assignments on time, and continue with the bachelor's of education. So after completing all that, I continued working in schools. Wherever we got transferred, I would start working there immediately, and so on and so forth for about 10 years. After 10 years, I felt the need to uh, for a little bit of change. I wanted to get into management, and because I know that I can manage. If I can manage a house, I can manage everything else also in my life. So I decided to write my master's in education. But this time I decided to do completely uh, a course where I would be completely there. So I did a regular master's in education from Aligarh Muslim University, for which I'm eternally grateful that I did it. And I got this opportunity to do it. I wrote my exams, I cleared the exams. It was a big struggle because I was competing with with girls and boys who were probably 25 years my junior. But I cleared my MEd, and I after that I took over posts of headmistress at various schools. That has been my journey.
Wow, that is brilliant. So basically, if you want to be at the helm of affairs, if you want to be a principal, a headmistress, headmaster, you got to be an MEd. Am I right?
That's right.
Okay. So when you went for, see, you come from a family of a lot of academicians and scholars and educationalists. One of your aunts was the principal of a leading school in Meerut. One of
That's
another
right.
aunts of ours was also a very senior teacher with another school in Meerut. Our father has been the vice chancellor of the Aligarh Muslim University. So when I remember coming to Aligarh to meet parents and you, and that time you were doing your MEd, and I remember how busy you were. And some people often would tell you at times that, oh, it is nepotism, that your father is a vice chancellor and that is the reason you got the course. So I would like to you to, through this medium, to give a voice to tell people how you got through AMU. Did your father help you at all, or how was it, or was it coincidental that he was the vice chancellor, or was his involvement there anywhere? It's through this medium I would like you to spell it out, please.
Well, my father made it absolutely clear to me that unless I got in through my own merit, there was no way I was getting admission in the university. So I cleared my exams and I came in through the proper channels. Everything is very transparent, so there was no nepotism involved. Only stepping stone that I saw that he was right there, so it was easier for me to do it, to do the course. But no, there was no nepotism involved at all. Zero.
So you gave the entrance test like a regular, like anybody else would give it,
Yes,
and you, of course,
that's
right.
right.
But were you accused by anyone ever in Aligarh? Because I remember seeing a WhatsApp forward by some I don't know, some person who was disgruntled, and I think I showed that to you, and that you felt very bad and disheartened about that. So was it? Were you ever accused that, perhaps that because your father is at a position there and that's why you're doing it or something like that? Did that ever happen?
Oh, yeah, sure. But then you hear it from one ear and you take it out from the other. You have to develop thick skin. Yeah, it did.
That is a
Sure, it hurt me at that time because I knew I'd gotten through my own merit. But then I moved on. I did not care so much about it. Where there are going to be mouths, there are going to be a lot of talks. So it's okay.
very well said. Very well said. See, as I told you, ladies and gentlemen, here, if you call me a motivation speaker, who do I get my inspiration, my motivation from? Here's the person, and that's the way. So tell me, after you finished your MEd, you how did it come about when you? Because I remember giving a motivation talk to the naval school in I think Parul ma'am was the at the helm, and she had invited me,
That's
and in
right.
fact, so it was in fact her daughter Maika. In fact, we are in touch. She's in touch through WhatsApp, and it's been a great journey. And they had very high words for you. So tell me, how did that come about? After you did your MEd, how did you come at the helm of the school?
Well, opportunities don't just fall on in your lap. You have to make the most of them. So I had got to know that there was a vacancy at the Navy Children's School. The HM was moving on to another place, and I decided to take the bull by its horns and apply. Generally, people who had been teachers with me, they were a little skeptical about the whole thing, that you'll have 1700 children are under you, you'll have 70-80 teachers plus conservancy staff. Will you be able to do it at such a young age? But somehow I had the confidence that yes, I will be able to do it. I have seen a lot of people handling a lot of difficult situations, and I took it up as a challenge, got in, gave my interview, gave a written test, interview, everything, and cleared it and got it. And it was just my privilege and my luck that I got it.
Did you have to? encounter school politics at the when you were the helm? There must have been teachers who were way more experienced, more older to you. And did they? What yeah, it happens everywhere. That politics factor is there. In every you go to a corporate job, you go to a residential colony. There are some people who want to play that netagiri, that politics. Did it ever happen? Did you ever come across anything like that?
Yes, absolutely. But see, one has to make oneself very clear that there are no favorites in a school. The headmistress has to be impartial towards everybody, and you have to give a patient hearing to everybody, whether it be a stakeholder, a parent, whether it be a student, whether it be the management, whether it be the principal, whether it be a teacher. One has to give equal opportunity to everybody, hear out everybody, and then form an opinion. So yes, of course, there was a lot of politics. There were a lot of teachers who were more experienced, elderly, elder than me also, but I managed without much many issues, without much trouble. I did.
That's wonderful. One trademark about us Fauji's is we have trunks of luggage where every station we go to, we collect a lot of things from there and we keep them accumulated. I have seen it myself that you have trunks of cards and handwritten notes which your students would write to you, and they would write to you on Teachers' Day and on normal days as well. And you really cherish them, you really value them. I have seen one thing that you really understand children very well. Now, where does that come from? And I wish I was a student when you were at the helm at that time. It would have been very, very nice. Though we had a very, very good headmaster, but it would have been a different experience altogether to be learning formally, officially, because unofficially, informally, yes, I did learn under your guidance. It would have been very nice. So tell me a bit about those trunks that I've seen of those handwritten letters and notes and those which you get from your students. Do they still write to you?
Yeah, absolutely. I get phone calls also. We are staying in Santiago, Chile at the moment, and I get calls from students. I get messages from them, and I receive amazing feedback from them, which is just so heartwarming. Because even after so many years, if somebody remembers you, then you must have done something good. I think it all begins from the childhood when, being four of us, I would be given the responsibility of looking after you all, who were quite a handful, and then moving on, moving
I
on when
still
I
have.
became when I became a mother myself, how I learned how a child has to be handled, and then through experience, you just grow, and you learn to be more empathetic, more concerned about children as you grow through the years. See, everybody can attain a B.Ed and an M.Ed degree and become a teacher, but to be a person, an educator who is remembered and revered is something special altogether. You have to be really connected with your students. You have to understand their fears and their concerns. You have to go beyond the call of duty. So, which I have tried to do because I had some teachers like that, and they molded and motivated my thinking. So, I hope I am that person for some people at least.
Very well said. They say before we let you go, we I'd like to know this about. They say if you enjoy the job that you do, if you make your hobby into your profession, if you love what you do, you'll never have to do a hard day's work for the rest of your life. I have seen you work very, very hard, long hours, putting in all your energy, sincerity, and hard work. But do you think that you have ever was it work for you or something which you were enjoying doing? It was a part of you.
It was a part of me. Every learning is growing. Everything that you do, everything leads you to something. Like when I started out teaching the KG children. Then I went on to primary, and then I came up to secondary, and then I took spoken English classes for class 11th and 12th also. In Aligarh Muslim University, I there was this course called the bridge course, where I taught university uh, graduates, or people who were just learning to be who were getting to be graduates, how to the nuances of English, the nuances of English grammar. This was voluntary work that I did. So everything leads you to some place, and I think every experience of mine has led me to where I am today. I'm still learning. One has to keep sharpening the saw, and I have done a course in Espanol. In fact, um, I speak well, pretty fluently, enough to get by. I've done a course, and I'm taking online classes with a professor who's based here in Santiago, Chile.
We have another comment from a Laurentian. In fact, Ashwini Khullar was my batchmate, and he writes, "Wonderful conversation. Cheers." And Khullar has joined all Forge, by the way. Khullar Fauji, eh? Khullar, good to see you, brother. After a long time. So, tell me one more thing now. You have learned Spanish, you speak fluent Spanish, and they say traveling is the best education. In fact, your son, Ayan, the head boy of the class of 2017, Lawrence School, Lovedale, he has traveled so many countries when he was in NYU and otherwise as well. You have been, I mean, you can name the country. I mean, you have traveled so widely. So, what is your greatest learning you have taken from any of these countries which you would like to specify? Anything?
Well, we've traveled extensively in South America, a dream for many, and luck for us that we could. Well, once we were climbing, there's this volcano here in Chile. It's called Villarrica. So we paid good money to go with a guide, and we were climbing up the Villarrica. And the to summit, you required about 8 or 9 hours of constant walking. No, sorry. You required 5 hours of walking and about 4 hours of coming down. So as I was climbing up, trudging with my backpack and with other instruments on my back, I even a minuscule amount of point so and so grams was a lot of load on your shoulder. So the moment you ate a piece of chocolate, the load decreased. You drank a sip of water, the water content decreased in your bottle, and the load kept getting lower and lower until you realized there was a point when you realized that every person carries their own load. Nobody else can take it. That little bag is symbolic of your life. That bag that on your back is yours alone. You are the one who are meant to carry it, and you are the one who is going to face whatever happens after that. It did it did um, uh, you know there were moments of despair when I was climbing, because it was not an easy task. It was very, very difficult, and I was constantly not in very good humor while climbing up, because at some points I felt that okay, I think I've had enough, I need to give up because I can't do it. But our leader, he would keep motivating us. Come on, team, you can do it, you can do it. It is tu puedes, tu puedes. That means you can do it. It's only your thinking, it's your mind which is stopping you. Only you can move forward. So well, that was a great learning experience for me, because it with each step that one took in the snow, one thought of life, and a lot of philosophical thoughts occurred, and it was a life changing experience. Yes, sure.
Very well spoken. And we just heard the bell ring. And I think some of your students are here. Some of you have a huge fan club, huge fan following. And some कोई बच्चे आ गए होंगे देखने के लिए, अरे नाजली मैम लाइव है, हमको आना है. But thank you very much, ma'am, for taking out time for us. And it was an honor and a privilege. And it was, thank you for giving me this opportunity of being in conversation with you. And बहुत से राज मुझे मालूम पड़े जो मेरे को पहले मालूम नहीं थे. I did not know of these things earlier. I'm going to pull your leg over them sometime now. Thank you very
Sure.
much, ma'am. It was wonderful being in conversation with you. Jai Hind, ma'am.
Thank you so much. Thank you. It was an honor and a privilege for me too. Goodbye.
Bye, ma'am. So, just a moment before we go, I can so relate to these long treks and long road one carries from a military point of view, like a trekker and spiritual too. Well brought out, ma'am. Ashwini Kullar writes, my batchmate and a very, very dear friend of mine from
Thank you.
school. Fauji
Thank
as
you.
well. Bye, ma'am. Good night. I'm
Bye
no
bye.
for you. Good day. It's for you. You're in the West. Day starts now. In fact.
That's right.
Bye,
Bye
bye.
bye.
Bye, bye.